Okay, sounds like we're recording, folks. All right, what I'm going to show here is you're all familiar with all the tools and how we get started. This is our goal, kind of a little espresso slash cortado cup. A cortado being 2 ounces of espresso and then roughly 2 ounces of foam, as opposed to a latte, which is milk and then foam. So we're talking about size of cup here. This is very specific to the coffee industry. We have extruded these tubes. So these tubes, typically you must wedge the clay quite a bit, or you must use the pre-made clay in our boxes. That clay is a little bit more aged. It is more plastic. So it will stretch a bit more without cracking. And as you get to use the extruder, you'll start to realize how to get the air pockets out and how to get kind of the best results out of it. So after a bit of experience, you'll be able to do a bit better with that. Okay, I like that knife. So I've got a slab here. Again, same thing, some nice wedged up clay. Have it, I would say, I don't know, 3/8 of an inch. I'm going to score this and slip and then add this on here. Then I'm going to tap this to get it to stick. You may want to tap the bottom. You might want to tap the top a little bit. Now, just prior to this, I'm using my extruded tube. So here's one of my tubes. This tube is a little messier coming out of the extruder. I'm going to use this wire because it has a lot less drag than a knife. Pulling that through, supporting it. Now I have a clean area. These were made yesterday. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Depending on how you extrude, if you put your hand on it and pull, you can straighten them. If not, it will get a bit of a curve to it, but that's all right. A little bit of character. So I'm kind of shaping this back to round, getting the little burrs off the edge, cleaning that up. And I might just kind of leave this one so that it has a little curve, little character to it. All right, I'm liking that. Okay, so that becomes this becomes this. God, all these knives are bent on the end. I'm going to then carefully cut around this base. And this may seem like we're cheating, we're making it easier, let's say easier than throwing or hand building, but it's kind of the same thing. You've really got to come up with a system, work on that system, practice it, and I would say by the time you make about 12 of these, you'll have 4 that you like. We're going to tap the bottom in a little bit, make it a little bit concave. We're going to curve the bottom around. We want to get a little bit of lift here, little bit of shadow, so this thing doesn't feel visually or aesthetically, doesn't feel like it's stuck to the table. And then I kind of keep just lightly blending that in. So then I've got my basic cup. Next, I'm going to take water and move my fingers around to get this look. So I'm going to do that after for the sake of the video. And then what we're going to do is, this is extruded also. So what I'm doing is kind of leveling the playing field for the students here. You're all starting with the same parts and pieces. These can vary in size. We have a few different sizes, and the handles can vary in size. We're going to take this, and again, our nice plastic clay, roll it around. I felt like aesthetically, this size handle works with this cup, and I'm cutting them so that they link up. I'm slipping and scoring them. And then I'm using this knife to keep my size and shape while I kind of bend it around. And then I'm going to either flatten this or cut into it a little bit so that it attaches to this really well. I'm going to decide, okay, based on what I've done here and the shape, I'm going to add my handle on this side. You know what I might do is even just shave a little bit of clay out of there so the handle's a little more flush, and then I'm going to score in there pretty well. And again, we're going to clean up the top after for the sake of video time. Okay, add some slip. Then we're going to put this on. I want to make sure this presses into my cup pretty well. And then I'm also going to use the knife. We want to avoid finger marks and keep these kind of uniform so they match. Now, does your set have to be exactly the same all around? No, it does not. But if we learn to make them the same, then we can kind of choose what we do them after. Okay, so there's our cup. Now I'm going to do a quick view of how you'll be able to clean up the rim. So quickly, I'm going to take some water and I just kind of round out this rim. And after a while, it starts to round out and kind of come clean. And it becomes something that you want touching your lips when you're drinking from it. If it's sharp, the glaze only makes it sharper. So we're cleaning this. I'm kind of pinching my fingers and pulling that clay together just a little bit. And then I'm going to use a sponge to go around it and kind of take off that little bit. You can even do that with a finger that's a little bit dry. So it basically has this clean look to it, and it rounds it out a little bit. All right, and there we go. So that's our cup. Then, based on our aesthetic interpretations, our aesthetic pages, our design stuff, we decide later what these glazes will look like and how interesting these can be and how I can make them my own with my level 3-4 creativity. I can glaze, I can carve, I can stamp, I can trace onto this and glaze in. There's a lot of stuff I can do. All right, so that's our basic extruded cup. Thank you, folks.